Hey everyone, and welcome to the craft portion of your packet. Today we're going to be making a paper roll scarecrow. The supplies that you will need for your scarecrow are a paper towel roll, some crinkled paper, a foam ring, some googly eyes, glue, a black magic marker. I used a red magic marker, but you can use any other color you want for his nose. And you want some brown paint and some orange paint. So, first thing we're going to start is we're going to paint our toilet paper roll. And what I like to do to help me paint is I like to start with the orange to match my ring. So what I want to do first, so I'm going to take my orange. I have to shake it up a little bit, pop it open, pour some on my plate. Ooh, come on. There it goes. All right. Okay, so like I said, the first thing I want to do is I want to take my paper roll, I want to take my ring, and I just want to slide it onto my paper roll real quick. And what I want to do is measure out roughly how tall I want my hat to be. So I think right about there should be good. And that way I know where I need to paint for the top of my scarecrow hat. And then I also want to make sure I want some space for his head, for his face. I want some space for his face. So I'm going to start by going around the top of my paper towel roll and just taking my time painting the top. You can add one layer, you can add 2 layers. It's all up to you how you want to paint. You don't even need to start with the orange. You can start with the brown and work from the bottom up. But I like to work from the top down so that I know how tall I want my hat to be first. So you go and do that, go around a few times until you get your little layer of orange. Okay, like so. Right. Do one, I'm going to go down one more. I think that will be the height I want my hat to be. Just a little tall. I want him to have a nice bright orange top hat for my scarecrow. That looks pretty good. So once you're done with that, you then want to take your brown paint, plop some on your plate, take your paintbrush, and then you want to paint. On the bottom. Start from the bottom and make his body. He's wearing brown clothes for his scarecrow outfit. And you just want to do the same you did for the top with your orange. And just go around a few times. And of course, you can go up a little bit. If it helps as a tip, paper rolls tend to have some lines in between of where they put some glue to attach the paper to. And so if you want, you can use those lines as a guide of where you can either paint to or paint below it or above it. It's up to you. Okay, we're just going to finish painting his body. And you can have him have a long face or a short face, He can have a really tall body or a really short body. Again, it's all up to you. Okay, so there's the start of my scarecrow. So we're going to let this dry for now. In the meantime, I'm going to take this Scarecrow that I've already painted, and it's already dry. And now I'm going to work on gluing things down. So let's stick our little ring back on to our toilet paper roll. And there is his hat. He looks a cute little hat. And then we're going to take our glue. Now, you don't have to start this way. You can follow the directions that we included in your packet if you want to do it that way. But I'm just going to go and put his eyes on now, so I have a rough understanding of where I want his hair and his mouth and stuff to go in the meantime. Okay. Gluing on his eyes. This glue is not gonna work with me, so I gotta use the big glue. I use the big glue. Get the globs on there. Okay. Whoop. There it goes. Okay. So I got my glue. I want to attach the eyes like so onto my skeleton. Onto my scarecrow. I still got Halloween on the brain, but you know Miss Carmela always got Halloween on the brain. That's what I'm thankful for this holiday season, is for Halloween. Oh, so there we go. We got our little eyes on. So I'm going to put him off to the side here and let him dry for a minute. In the meantime, I want to take my crinkled paper that we have, and I want to make it super crinkly. He's got really curly hair. So I'm going to take all of these crinkled pieces of paper I have, and I'm going to just smush them in my hands. Just make a tiny little tight ball with it. And I just want to go crazy with it. I want to rub it between my fingers, make a ball out of it. Oop. Just go crazy with it. And once I'm satisfied, I'm going to have all of these crinkly, curly looking pieces of paper. And now, with my curly little pieces of paper that I've taken the time to really curl, I'm going to take each one and attach it to the sides of my scarecrow. So I make him have some hair. He's going to get a new do today. And this part, you can take your time with it. If you think it's too long, you can always take some scissors and you can cut up the pieces if you want him to have shorter curly hair. You can also take the scissors with help from an adult, and you can always make them really curly, like you see on balloon strings when you have balloons. So you can make them curly like that, so they're really curly. But you just want to put a little dab of glue on your curls, somewhere in the middle. And then you just want to go around where your scarecrow is and attach them kind of underneath where the rim of your hat is. So where your brim is, you want to just attach those little pieces. Okay. That should do it. Alrighty. And there is his curly hair. Now, while he's drying, or if you want to wait after he's fully dry, you can. You're going to take your markers and you're going to want to add a little nose. I like to make a triangle nose, but you can make a circle or a square or an octagon, however you want his nose to be. And remember, he's a scarecrow, and scarecrows usually are put together with different pieces of whatever is usually around on a farm, because it's usually when you see scarecrows, they keep the crows away from the crops that the farmer is making so they don't eat them. And so they're not going to look perfect, and they're not supposed to. So you can do whatever you want with your scarecrow's nose. See? His is a little crooked, but that's okay. That makes him more like a scarecrow. Alright, now with my other marker, I'm going to draw his face. I always like to make it look like stitched face, like he's been sewn together. So I'm going to make a little smile like that on his face. And then I'm just going to put little lines right across the top of it so it looks like that. And there you have it. Your own little scarecrow to keep your little crows away from some treats or some of your garden. There he is. I'm so glad you enjoyed that one. That's really fun to make. So the next craft that we're going to do is a pumpkin collage using scraps of fabric. And this is going to be really fun because I like using fabric. So we're going to take our pumpkin cut out in our packet. We're just going to lay it down for now. And we're going to go through all the different scraps of fabric that we have in our packet. We're just going to lay them out. Now you don't have to do this. You can totally do it randomly. But if you want, you can go through the scraps that you have and you can place whatever scraps you want down onto your pumpkin before you start in a pattern or however you want it to look. You can make a face out of the scraps. You can make patterns, you know, with your scraps, like blue or like this one, and then you have this piece next, and then you have this piece next. You can do a pattern like that, or you can do random. It's all up to you. So I kind of like this design that I have created. It's got a little bit of everything. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide off my pieces over to the side. I'll use them later. And then I'm going to take some glue. And I can do it one or two ways. You can put a little dot and put a piece of fabric onto your pumpkin, or you can do a super duper long glob all over and then place the pieces like that. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll up my sleeve so don't get glue on them. And I'm just going to start placing down pieces, and you want to make sure you press on the pieces to make sure they're laying flat, because you want to make sure that your pieces are going to stick to your pumpkin cutout and they're not going to, you know, come off when you go to stick it on the fridge or show it off to your friends on Zoom or grandparents or other relatives. You want to make sure all your pieces are nice and flat. Now, a lot of these pieces might be big and some might be smaller. If you want smaller pieces, you can always ask an adult for help, and you can have them cut the pieces to make them just a little bit smaller. And you can do it that way, or if you run out of pieces, you've used so many and you still have some space left, you can always make some of those pieces smaller before you stick them down, and that way you have more pieces. In fact, see, I'm running low on pieces now too, and I still have all this space. So I'm gonna cut up a few more scraps for myself. Let's see. I really like this purple, because purple is Miss Carmela's favorite color. So I like to use purple. And I really also like this checkered pattern, so I'm going to use that. A few more burlap ones, because this reminds me a lot about fall. A lot of memories about fall when I think of burlap. Fall is one of my favorite holidays, or time frames, not just because I like Halloween, but also because the crisp air and the apple picking and the pumpkin picking and all other fun things to do. Got a blank space here. Gonna make sure I fill that up with some glue and put another piece down. Okay, that way everything's all nice and flat. Again, if you want, you can wait till this is nice and dry. I recommend you should, just because you're using fabric, and fabric takes a little bit longer than paper to settle. And then when you're all set, you can show off your little pumpkin collage. There you go. I hope you guys had a wonderful time doing crafts with me. And in the meantime, enjoy your packets, and we'll see you in a few weeks. Okay? Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Bye now.